In today's class, we are going to look at how to model these three tie beams using the tools which we have already learned. Before we actually get into the modeling, we have to make a good study of how to do this efficiently, and we will analyze the drawing and then set up our procedures. The task is to model these three beams: 1, 2, 3. These three beams. Also, we will model these two brackets, 1 and 2. We will ignore all of this anchor bolts and the nuts and all which is coming behind, but we need to provide the holes for the anchors. Okay, now let me look at the drawing in a little more detail. So all that we need is model these three braces. Do I need to put a layout for that? So the client said layout not required. So we are basically going to model only the braces by itself, not necessarily in position. But if you can show some sort of a sketch showing which assembly is where, that may be okay. Okay, now the line weights are a little bit thick for me now, so I'm going to press Ctrl 5 to change the line weight in PDF. Okay, so this one has got a central body and then two end connectors. Second one also similar. Third one also similar. So if I look at this side connectors, they look similar. They look similar here as well. Now what about the other side? Well, that have a bolted connection here. They look similar. These two look similar. And here that also looks similar. There's a detail 1 and a detail 2. So if you go to detail 1 and detail 2, that basically tells how the brackets are going into the concrete. Doesn't tell much about the bracket itself. Alright, now let me look into a little more detail and look at these end connections. So that one is a 32 plate, 350 by 350 by 32. On the other side, again, same 350 by 350 by 32. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plates. And this end distance 400. This is also 400. Radius 125, 125. What's the plate size? Alright, the plate size is given as a dimension here, 32. So 32 thick plate. What about this side? That is also 32. Okay, normally you should say this as a thickness, not like a dimension here. Plates should be labeled as a thickness, but this is how it is done. Okay, we got the information. Alright, so if I model one plate, then I can copy that plate here and also copy that this side. And this end plate is the same for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places, but has a bolt hole here. That's okay. So if I model this plate and this plate, I can copy and then use it. Also, if I model this end completely, I can copy that to this side, that is in this area, but here the distance is a little bit different. That we can deal with. The bolting is same, so I can use that. So these are the things which I am noticing straight away. So how much time I will need to do this model? Let's see, it is 8:21 here. Let's see whether I can do that within 30 minutes. For this job, do I need a set of grid lines to model this one? Possibly not. Do I need a grid lines? The grid lines are shown here. Do I need that? Maybe not. If I go for that, it's going to take a lot more time. So I am not going to model the grid lines. I am just going to use some points to do this, and then this one, because they don't need a layout, I will approximately place these members. That's what I am going to do. Okay, now to model this, I will have a view plane at 0, 0 here, but then I am going to set my work point at 72 mm up from here, and then use the work plane switch to set the work plane to that, so that I can model this plate. And once I model that, I'll mirror it across this plane. So let's do. Okay, I need a set of points at 265, another at 400, then I will need a set of points at 125 from the center line. Okay, so I open Tekla. This is the default view which comes in. So I need those points first. Now the other thing is I want the points to be displayed all the time. So I am going to double click this, go to display, and make sure the points is checked. Normally by default it's not checked. I will check that and then apply it. Once you apply, any new view you open will have this as the default setting. Okay, I check my switches here. So it's auto and view plane and outline plane. That's fine. Okay. So I brought notepad up and I'm going to put my point spacing. The first spacing is at 0. Then the next one at 32. The next one at 265. Okay, so this point spacing I need is first is 32 here. Next is 265. The next difference I need is actually this distance. This is that distance, which is 135, and then the last one, which is at 125. These are all incremental, so I copy that. So I'm going to put these points using edit points, and I am going to use the parallel to 2 points. Let me have a look at that, how far I want. It doesn't matter. It says 350 plate, so let me do at 350. So I'm going to go from the middle here, come down 350. Okay, first I'm going to create a point at any position, so here, and then I'm going to copy this point up and down by 125. So control copy, click on that, put my cursor in that direction and type in 125, and then in this direction and 125. And copy this one from here to 125, 125. So I got these 2 points, measure it, check whether it's 125. Yeah, 125, 125, 250. Now I have set this point, so let me go and create parallel to points. So that's our default. So I put these points, again measure whether it's correct. So this checking part is very important at every step, otherwise you are going to make a lot of mistakes which will take too long to correct a bit later, and sometimes it's not even caught. So check every step of the way, you make sure things are right. Okay, 525, is that what is required? Check that. So 400 plus 125, 525 plus 32, that's fine. Okay, so go back to a model. Okay, so that's our model, that's our points. The first thing I am going to model is this plate. Okay, to model the plate I go to steel, and I am going to use a steel plate because I can put a radius here of 125 using the steel plate profile. So I press the shift key and press the plate button. This dialog box comes up. We need a thickness of 32, so I go 32, and I want to change the color. I don't like the color. I'll put color 3 or maybe color 6, and part number, we'll ignore all that. And where do I want, what depth do I want it? Okay, right now in our model we are on this view plane, but I am going to set my work point here, that's the coordinate system here, and switch to work plane. So in that case I want the plate coming up. That's what I want. So I switch the middle to front. I could also keep it in the middle and then change this dimension, but I don't want to do that now. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So I am going to model this plate right now. This is going to come on the mid plane. Okay, I know that. So that will be the plane. So you can see that's on the mid plane. But where do we want it? We want it not in the mid plane. We want it at 72 millimeters there. Okay, now since I already modeled it, I'm just going to move it by 72. So I am going to go to Edit, Move Spatial, Linear. Along the z-axis, I am going to move 72, and move. So you can see it has moved straight up. Okay, now I can mirror that right now, but then it will not have that hole. So I better put the hole first and then mirror it. How am I going to put the hole? There are a couple of ways. The recommended way for putting holes is to model a bolt without actually showing the bolt. But look, it's a big hole, so you may not have a 90 bolt. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a dummy 90 die pin and then cut the plate using part. Okay, the other thing is if I press Ctrl P now, see, this is our model and we see too big an area. I don't want to see that much, so I want to reduce what I see. So I go to View, Work Area, using 2 points, and then zoom in there. I really want to see only so much right now. So every time I zoom in, I'll get that. So that's all I want to see now. Okay, now I can actually copy this down. But copy is not the best option here because it's actually a mirror here. If you look at how it is done, this is one plate. You can copy in a different way. There are a couple of ways you can do. You can mirror it, or you can copy object to object, but I basically want the handle of this plate on the inside here. Not if I copy straight, the handle will come this side. But if I copy object to object appropriately, the handle will come here. If I mirror also, the handle will come here, but it could be different. So what I'll do here is I'm going to do a copy object to object. Okay, now let us first put this holes in the middle. For that, I'm going to use a column, and I'm going to make that diameter D90, and start position. Top, I'm going to say 200 so that it sticks through the plate, and bottom in the middle, fine. And where do I want it to start? I want actually that column to start right in the middle here. Okay, so anyway, I put it there. Let me put a point now. Go to Edit, Point, 1 point, which should be the midpoint. Okay, I got that there. I'm just going to move it there. Put it to D10, D90, modify. Okay, it's too long. Okay, should have been just 200. Modify, set as default and modify. Okay, now I'm going to do a part cut. So I go to edit, part cut this one, this dummy, and then now I can delete that. Okay, so that's the top plate without the radius. Now to add the radius, I select the plate, I then select, right click and select the handle. Where is the handle? Press Alt and then select and then right click, properties. Okay, shape is coming up here. So the shape I want it radius, and what is the radius I want? 125. So I go 125, modify. You can see I got that one. So for the next handle, I select the part, press the Alt key, draw a window around that, press a window around that, and then again modify, or right click and modify. So I got that plate. Okay, redraw. Okay, so that's the plate. The cut disappears. It is there but disappears. If you want the cut, just delete, undelete, and you can see the cut again. Next thing I want is I want to copy this plate here. So there are a couple of ways you can do that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a dummy, two dummies, a source dummy and a destination dummy, and then copy object to object to get this plate to the other side as required here. Okay, so I go to steel, I go to beam, go P, I press shift beam. I will set the plane in the middle. At depth I will also keep in the middle, and then I'm going to draw a beam from here. This endpoint doesn't matter. That's my source, and another one destination. But here for the destination, I'm going to change the rotation from top, that's the top now, to below. Modify. So I have a source beam and a destination beam. Now to enable me to select properly, I'm going to change the shading by Control 1 to wireframe. So I can select that and then select this easily. Okay, or Control 2 maybe. That also may be better. Yeah, select that or select that. Okay, now I'm going to copy this object. Right click, copy spatial to another object. So this is my source and this is my destination, and you can see that is copied to the other side. I have to check the dimension though. One way to check is either you can switch the view and check, but normally what I do is I go here, edit, and I use this tool, move spatial linear, and just pick 2 points. Pick between that point and that point. So the DZ is 144. Is that what we want? 144. So that's what we want. So that is okay. This is a technique which I use frequently. Don't forget to save your model. As soon as you check something and it's good, save it. It takes only a couple of seconds to save. Small models, larger models will take a little more, but it is worth saving frequently because Tekla do crash. Things happen and you could lose a lot of work. Frequently save, important. Okay, the next thing I'm going to model is I'm going to model this end plate and this beam and these two plates and the bolts. Once I do that, I can copy that across and then fill it up with these stiffness on this side, and the other side it is the same plates but at a different location. That's okay, we'll deal with that. I don't think I need the dummy anymore, so I'm going to get rid of the dummies. To create this end plate, I'll need actually a view plane here. How can I create a view plane there? There are many ways, but right now what I am going to do is I am going to use the view tool, and then I'm going to set the work plane 2, and I'm going to set the work plane to this point, this back face. So that is set. Now what I'm going to do is, the switch is still view plane. I'm going to create a new view on work plane. So that's a new view on work plane. So it is too tiny. Again, I'm going to set my work area using 2 points so that I can see properly. So that's the view. But here, if I can't see the points, for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it, modify and apply. Okay, so these are our points. And this is 125, and we want the plate at 350. The plate is 350 by 350. So I can copy these points by 175 both ways. So then let me do that way. Copy, select that, put the cursor there. It has clicked on to that point, and I'm going to go 175. So where is that point? There's a point there. And I can copy the same thing here. I can copy that from here to here. That's 175 also. So just measure all the time, check, because if it's wrong, then whatever you do from now on will be useless. So 350. Okay, now what I do is I go here, parallel point. I'm going to go 175 because our plate is 350, so I need 4 points at 350 corners. Apply, and then I go 2 points there, then 2 points here. Check again. From here to here, 350. From here to here, 350. That's all good. So the next thing is we want the plate, but we want the thickness this side. So let's look at the drawing. So that's the 350. We have opened our view on that plane, and we want the thickness to come this way. Okay, so I go to the steel tool, I click on the plate view, and the plate thickness is 32, and at what depth we want it in the front. That's correct. Okay, so that's all good. Interrupt. I'm going to press Ctrl P, and now I'm going to model the plate. So this is yellow color. Let me change the color to 2. Okay, and going there, 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 middle button to finish the plate. Okay, so we got the plate now. Okay, next thing I want is I want to model this beam. The beam profile is not mentioned here, so I'm going to take this as UC 305118. Now, for in the Tekla education copy, this profile is not available. I am going to use something from there. So we are going to switch to this view to model this beam. So go back here, shift and click beam. The properties come up, and the profile we require is what's the profile we require? UC 305118. Let's see whether it's available. Go here, UB. We need UC 3. It's there 3. Okay, apply. Okay. Now what depth we want? We want it in the middle, not at the top or bottom. So it's in the middle, at depth middle. Rotation is shown as top. I think it's correct. And what is the length we need? That length of the beam is 400. Okay, fine. So we go here, click on that, and I drag the mouse along that and type in 400. Okay, the rotation has come as front. No, that is because we didn't switch back our UCS. Let me go and switch my UCS back. Go to view, go to work plane, title to XYZ, change, and that has now changed. So, but now we want the rotation actually top, modify. So change the shading, and yes, that's what we want. My work area has increased a little bit, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. I want to check this dimension whether it's correct. So I go to edit and measure from there to there. 399, 400, maybe 400. 400. We need another 2 plates here. So this one I am going to copy, control copy, from just make sure things are alright, because I could have put 21.5, 21.5, it looks alright. Okay, so that's one copy. I need one more plate, so I'm going to copy that again. Okay, so I got all that without the stiffness. Next thing I want to do is add bolts. For that again I will have to switch a view plane to this and set a work plane there as well. So I go to view, I go to work plane. Using work plane tool, I'm going to set the work plane here, and then with the new view on work plane, where's that on work plane? So I created the work plane again. I want to the view there. Okay, here. So that's my view. Okay, what I want to do is I want to bolt these two parts. Okay, the drawing says that it's 4 M34 bolts at 160 this way and 160 the other way. Alright, so go back there. So we go to steel, we go to bolt. So I put 160 in the X and 160 in the Y. And then what I plan to do is I want to click in the middle and then go in this way or that way. It doesn't matter because both sides is 160. So what should be the start bolt offset? The start bolt offset should be -80, because if I click from here, the bolt should start -80 from where I click. So that's it. And then I am going to pick the parts to be bolted. So look at the prompt, pick part to be bolted to. So I want to bolt to that, and pick the part to be bolted to that one, and then the next one, and then I am going to press the middle button, and then I want to come to the front view now. So I press Ctrl P, go back here. Now I am going to select the start point of the bolt group here and the end point. The direction is important, means it at least it has to be orthogonal. It could be X or Y because both sides is the same. But if you go and click somewhere here, you will get another, like, let me click here. You can see the bolt is rotated. That's not what we want. So we want a bolt to come from here to here, middle button, Ctrl P, and then go here and along that direction. So you can see that bolt is here now. Okay, now we have modeled almost everything except these stiffness here. So if we copy across this area, this is 144, this is 202. So whatever difference is there, if I move this out by a little, we should get this end. So let's do that. So what is the difference? So 202 minus 145, so it's equal to 202 minus 144, 58 divided by 2. So 58 divided by 2 is 58 divided by 2. So 29 millimeters I have to move out. Once I copy, I can move them out by 29 millimeters. See, when I look at this model now, see, it is not bolting through. That is because the cut length may not be sufficient. So let me change the cut length. What is the cut length here? Cut length 100, not enough because the 32 64 plus nut is already more than 100. So let me change that cut length to say 130. Okay, now the bolting is complete. Now do that before you copy, otherwise you create a lot of work. Okay, and the other thing which I want to do is I want to weld all these parts. So to weld all these parts, first I have to define what is going to be my primary part. My primary part I would like to be the beam. Okay, so let me first go to the weld, pick that part and then that part, then pick that part and then I'll pick both of them, pick that part and then that part. So now let me check whether it's an assembly. I create a toolbar here, assembly object. So okay, the primary part is red in color and all these are in assembly. Okay, the other plate is not in assembly because it's a bolted plate, shop bolted. Okay, let me switch back my coordinate system to the global. So I go to work plane, parallel to XYZ, switch it back, change. So it has changed back. I also made the view area a little bigger because we might want to see a little more now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this entire thing and copy and rotate using dummy. So let me put a dummy beam here. Intersection is on. Put the intersection on. Put that off. Okay. And one dummy beam here. Then another dummy beam. I'm going this way now. So these are my two dummies. So I'm going to copy all of that. Copy spatial to another object from this dummy to this dummy. Okay. So we have now both end plates here. So this has to move out a little bit. How much? I calculated that before, which is 29 millimeters. So let me do that. So I go to edit. I should have welded it before. Let's weld it first. No, it was welded. Okay, let me move spatial. Go to move spatial, linear. Clear all of that. How much we had to move? 29. So 29 positive. Let me move that first. Move. And this one will be 29 negative. Minus 29. Move. Got to check whether it's correct. So how do I check? Clear and then pick points from here to here. 121. Why the hell is that? Okay, that's a 202. Okay, the distance is 202. Okay, I forgot to add the stiffener here. See, there's a 20 stiffener here. It's going to be different on both sides. So that's a 20 stiffener here, another 20 stiffener here. Let's add that one now. That stiffener is in the mid plane, so I necessarily have to open a new view on this plane. So let me open a new view on that plane. So going to view, new view using 2 points, and I'm going to click these 2 points, and here is the new view. Okay, now we want to add a stiffener there. Okay, it's a 265 here and 265 here, same length, so that's fine. So I am going to put some points here. So going to use parallel 2 points, 265, apply OK. Going to go from here to here, so these are my 2 points, here to here, and from here to here. So that should be 265, 265, 265. Now I want to add a plate. This time it's going to be 20 thick, and it is not going to be forward or backward, it is going to be in the middle. So go to steel, plus press shift key and plate, and at depth, not in the front, in the middle. Okay, and what is the thickness is going to be 20. Let me change the color to 3. Okay, and now I am going to go that one, that one, that one, that one, and middle button. Check whether it's come all right. Yeah, it looks like all right. Okay, and here also plate, here, 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 and here. So now I have to weld it. So weld that to that, and weld to that. So that is assembly. Go to my toolbar and check the assembly. Check the assembly. Okay, that's the main part. That's the main part. All good. The next thing to do is add the stiffness. So it's only on one side. On this side there's no stiffener. So let's go and add that. Do we have the dimensions? We have 150, 50. No dimension here. We will just take it as 50 again from the middle. So maybe 100 there. There's no dimension given. And where is that stiffener? That's 80 from here. So let's model this in the middle, and then we'll just copy that across. What's the stiffener thickness? Is 16 thick. Okay. Okay, so we'll take this as 50 here. We'll take that as 50. So we need some points. So we need 150 points at 50 as well. So we go to edit, points, parallel points. So I'm going to put 0, 50 and 100. Apply OK. So first I'm going to go that way by 150. Okay, sure, was too much. And also here. So that's a 50. And then we want the points this way as well. So we don't seem to have this dimension, so we'll make an assumption here. We'll go 20. Okay, so I'm going to move all these points here to that line and then move that from there 20 mil. So control move, set all of that, control M, or no, control M doesn't work sometimes. Linear, I'm going to move from here to here, move, move, and then I'm going to move all of that here by another 20, minus 20, move, and same thing I'm going to do here. Plus 20 this time. Oh. Okay, now our profile plate will be, what is the profile plate thickness? So it's going to be 16 thick, so I'm going to put it as 16, and let me change the color to something else, maybe that, and then let me model this like this, here to here to here, middle. So that's the stiffener plate right in the middle. Now I can set the chamfer using the properties here. So if I select that button here and line, what is the distance? 50, it's 150. Let's go 100, 100. I don't know whether 100, 100 will work. I'm going to put some value, okay? Let's say 100 and 100, modify. That might do. Okay, let's stay with that. Now I need a new view, so I go to view and new view using 2 points. I am going to go along the midpoint, so click that on. Yeah. Okay, so here is the stiffener. So that stiffeners have to be at what spacing? 80. Okay, 80. So first I move it down by edit, move spatial linear, clear, and move down by 8 mil to get it to the center line. 8 move, -8, move, and then by another 80. Move. Okay. Then I am going to copy it by copy a mirror. Maybe I'll mirror. So to mirror, I am going to set, I got to set the work plane XY plane parallel to this view. So I go to view. There are other ways, but this is one way, parallel to view plane. So go there, and now I'm going to mirror this. Okay. So to mirror this, I go to edit, copy spatial, mirror. I'm going to pick that center line, interrupt, and then select that and copy. So let's copy there. Now I need to copy that in plan view as well. So if I go here, okay, you can see, where is the other view? Okay, so that's there. It has to be on the other side as well. So how do I do that? So if I come here, I can reset my work plane, view, work plane, parallel to XYZ, change. So the work plane is set there. Now I can copy these things again around here. So go to that one and then copy. No. Then edit, copy spatial, mirror, that one. Okay, now I'm going to select these 2 items and copy. So it's copied there. But now it has to be welded as well. So I go to steel and then weld these items. Okay, Now at this stage I want to check whether I have any loose plates in there, which I don't intend to have. It's better to check, otherwise it may be too late. So what I do now is go there, make my view a little bigger, view, okay. Okay, to check for loose parts, basically loose plates, but loose parts, what we do is, see this button here, from here you pick loose parts and then modify the view. So whatever is loose means that's by itself, nothing assembled to it, will be red in color. So what is red in color? So there's nothing loose here, everything is welded together, but you can see this one is by itself, this one is by itself, this beam is by itself, and also this plate is by itself. So this plate, once we complete this model, will be welded to something. But right now that is loose. That's fine, no problem.